she's being told X, Y, and Z, and I don't think get out of there. Well, the crowd are seeing the pictures on the big screen.
Sobrang di ko pa mapaniwala. Maraming salamat sa suporta. Sana.
Her coach just broke his silence. The bombshell he dropped about Alex Eala's tears rewrites everything. Weeks passed with the same story circulating. Pressure crushed her. Manila was too big a stage. The golden girl of Philippine tennis folded when her country needed her most. Everyone bought it. The truth about what Alex Eala endured during those 2 brutal hours, while 100 million people watched, was supposed to stay buried forever. She begged her team, made them swear. Let the world believe she simply wasn't good enough. Sitting in that press room, tears streaming, she apologized to an entire nation for failing them.
I know a lot of people were rooting for me.
But her coach reached his breaking point. What he revealed silenced every reporter in that room. Because this wasn't about losing a tennis match. The Philippines doesn't produce tennis champions. That's what the world believed for decades, and the numbers backed it up with brutal honesty. No Filipino had ever cracked the top 50 in professional tennis rankings. The idea of one beating a top 5 player existed purely in the realm of fantasy, and winning a Grand Slam match most experts would have laughed at the suggestion before checking if you were serious.
I'm like super happy.
Totally understand the emotion right now.
Then Alexandra Eala walked onto the scene and systematically demolished every single one of those assumptions. This girl from Quezon City made a decision at 13 years old that most adults couldn't fathom. She left everything behind, her family, her friends, her entire childhood, and moved alone to Spain to train at the Rafa Nadal Academy, one of the most demanding tennis institutions on the planet. The sacrifice required a level of commitment that borders on incomprehensible when you really think about it. And then the WTA made an announcement that sent shockwaves through the Philippine sports world. The Philippine Women's Open, first professional women's tennis tournament ever hosted in the country's history. A chance for Filipinos to watch world-class tennis on their own soil, in their own stadiums, cheering in their own language. Every single person in that country understood what this meant. One story dominated every sports broadcast, every newspaper headline, every conversation in every household that cared even remotely about athletics. Alex Eala lifting the trophy in Manila, the prodigal daughter claiming her throne in front of her own people. Tickets vanished in minutes. 60,000 people transformed Rizal Memorial Tennis Center into a cathedral of dreams. But pressure wasn't what would bring her down. Something far worse was waiting. 72 hours before the quarterfinals, a routine practice drill changed everything. Her foot planted, her ankle rolled. That wet, tearing sound echoed through the empty court. Grade 2 ligament tear, the kind of injury that ends tournaments, ends seasons, puts athletes on crutches for weeks. Within hours, her ankle ballooned grotesquely. Every step would feel like walking on shattered glass. Doctors demanded immediate withdrawal. Her family begged through tears. Everyone delivered the same message. Protect your body, other tournaments will come. Alex looked at them and said no. Families had traveled from distant provinces. Little girls had painted signs with her name. Her people were waiting. If crawling onto that court was required, she was prepared to crawl.
The losses along with the wins, I think that would really touch me.
Her coach reveals the next 3 days became warfare against biology. 6-hour treatment sessions that left her exhausted before she even touched a racket. Ice baths so cold they stripped all feeling from her lower body. Compression wraps pulled so tight they left bruises across her skin, and despite throwing everything medical science could offer at the problem, the swelling barely responded. So they brought out the needles, cortisone driven directly into shredded tissue, the only way she could bear weight without collapsing. Match day arrived. She wrapped an ankle that belonged in an emergency room and walked towards 60,000 voices chanting her name. Not a single person knew what she was hiding. Camila Osorio detected vulnerability within the first 3 points. The assault began without mercy, drop shots forcing Alex forward, deep balls pushing her back. Every shot designed to make that ankle plant and push and absorb forces it was never going to survive. Fire erupted through her leg with each pivot. Sprinting felt like running on knives. Her nervous system screamed at her to stop before something broke permanently. but she kept playing. The first set vanished, 6-2. Second set transformed into something primal. Down a set, operating on one functional leg, she broke Osorio's serve and sent the stadium into delirium. 3 games all. Willpower looked like it might actually be enough. Then at 4 all, she sprinted forward for a short ball, planted her foot, and froze completely. Something inside that ankle finally surrendered. 6-4, 6-4. Match over.
Camila Osorio stays strong, and a great hug at the net by the 2 competitors.
But the worst part was still coming. 30 minutes later, Alexandra Eala shattered in front of the entire world. She apologized to her fans, her family, her country, said she tried everything, said it wasn't enough. Never mentioned the ankle, never mentioned the injections, never mentioned doctors begging her not to play. Every drop of blame flowed inward, absorbed by a 20-year-old who had just torn her body apart for people now calling her weak. Social media became a firing squad. Critics pronounced her mentally soft. The narrative wrote itself. Alex Eala choked. She read everything, responded to nothing. Exactly what she wanted them to believe. Her coach watched from the back, something inside him snapping. He told them everything. The tear, the MRI scans, doctors begging withdrawal. She said her people were out there. Tickets had been purchased. Little girls made signs with her name. She refused to quit on them. His voice cracked. Pain injections just to walk through the tunnel, then 2 hours of professional tennis on one functioning leg. That girl didn't lose because she's weak. Her body couldn't continue, but her spirit never broke, not for a single second. Everything flipped instantly. I watched the entire narrative flip on its head within hours. The same platforms that tore her apart suddenly flooding with apologies, headlines undergoing emergency surgery from Eala crumbles to Eala's sacrifice revealed. But none of that media rehabilitation matters compared to what happened in the hearts of her people that night.
With energy like that, you don't get tired, so it was good.
And Alex, so good to have you out here for the first time. How special was that?
Having too much crowd on this or any other tennis tournament is a very good problem to have.
Standing before them wasn't a failure anymore. It was a daughter who loved them enough to break herself rather than break their hearts. This is Alexandra Eala, the girl who chose her people over her own body. The ankle will heal. I'm sure the rankings will climb and Grand Slam titles will come eventually. But Manila echoes forever, as the moment the world discovered what burns inside her, a heart willing to shatter for the people who believe in her.
Filipina tennis ace Alex Eala is set to compete in the singles and doubles events at the...
With energy like that, you don't get tired, so it was good.
If you're an Alex Eala fan too, hit that subscribe button right now, because this is exactly what we do here. We dig deeper than the headlines, uncover the truth behind the tears, and bring you stories that actually deserve to be told. And trust me, you don't want to miss them.